I look at the world through a lens of comedy, right? So my natural reaction is always, no matter when something happens, and I can't even help it, it's why is that funny? You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're gonna fail. I've never seen myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is I'm willing to die in the process of acquiring skill.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. This channel is designed to be a part of your daily success routine and help you believe in your Michael Jordan level talent. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew in today's lessons from a man who went from being a great student but refused to apply to college because he wanted to rap to becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars. He's Will Smith, and here's my take on his top 50 rules for success. Also, if you want to know what Will Smith and other successful entrepreneurs have to say about building unstoppable confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series, where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you a free video to help you build your confidence. The link is in the description below.
I was excited about taking a shot. The fact that it was so strange, you know, as an artist, it was fun to get out on that limb and hoping it doesn't break under your feet.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Don't listen to the little man.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
All right.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Rule number 2, where you are isn't where you're going to be.
We didn't grow up with the sense that where we were was where we were going to be. You know, we grew up with the sense that where we were almost didn't matter because
we were becoming
something greater.
Rule number 3, make a choice.
There's a concept that I don't want to be an icon. I want to be an idea. You know, I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent magic, right? That you're in a universe and 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 only equals 4 if you accept that 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 is going to be what I want it to be. You know, and there's a redemptive power that making a choice has, you know, rather than feeling like you're at effect to all the things that are happening. Make a choice. Like, you just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way. It's like, it's water. It wants to move and go around stuff, you know. So for me, I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent the idea that you really can make what you want. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. And I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create. If I can put my head on it right, study it, learn the patterns, and you know, it's hard to put into words, some real metaphysical, esoteric nonsense, but I feel very strongly that we are who we choose to be.
Rule number 4, have purpose.
Difference between depression and joy, right? And I think it's purpose, right? It's like when you wake up in the morning and your life means something to somebody other than you, that you have a purpose. If you don't go do the things that you're going to do, people's lives will suffer. And I think that kind of purpose, that like to live in service, not to you, but to live in service to humanity, to live in service to your family, to live in service to your church, to your city, to your country, to the world. Living in service is that, I feel like that is the purest form of joy.
Rule number 5, be great.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it.
Yeah.
Period. It's that simple.
I know who I am, and I know what I believe.
I know who I am, I know what I believe.
That's all I need to know.
And that's all I need to know. So from there, you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think what happens is we make the situation more complex than it has to be.
Because we're looking for complexity. There's got to be something complex to understand.
It can't be that easy.
Rule number 6, commit.
The road to success is through commitment and through the strength to drive through that commitment when it gets hard. And it is going to get hard, and you're going to want to quit sometimes, but it'll be colored by who you are and more who you want to be. I definitely found that wanting to be an actor stems from wanting to be somebody and wanting to say something to people.
Rule number 7, do not be outworked.
The only thing that I can see, and you can never really look at yourself, the only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. Right? I will run.
You would not be outworked.
I will not be outworked.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, you might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of those things. You got it on me in 9 categories. But if we get on the treadmill together, right, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple, right? So let's go back to the question about what if people block me out. It's going to be 2 options. I'm going to get back in, or I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you're not going to outwork me. It's such a simple, basic concept. It's the guy who is willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that just gets that loose ball. You know, he got that. 2. He hustled, he grabbed that one. That was going to be out of bounds, but he saved it back in. It's like the commodity that I see the majority of people who aren't getting the places they want or aren't achieving the things that they want in this business is strictly based on hustle. It's strictly based on being outworked. It's strictly based on missing crucial opportunities. I say all the time, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Rule number 8, work on your skills.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled. You know, if you don't study, if you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every single day, you'll never be able to communicate with people.
Rule number 9, let fear motivate you.
I'm motivated by fear.
Fear.
You know?
Fear of what?
Fear of fear. I hate being scared to do something.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling of the feeling that I had before I had a meeting with Quincy Jones, because it was really Quincy Jones and a guy named Benny Medina and Jeff Pollack came with the idea for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I hated being scared, you know, that I didn't want to even take the meeting. Yeah. There were opportunities during when I my first year as a rapper, Bill Cosby and the people on the Cosby Show had seen my music video and called me to
be a character
to come
right.
and try out for the Cosby Show. And just every time it was set up, for some reason, I couldn't make it.
The fear of fear.
The fear. I just hated that being scared to do something. And I think what developed in my early days was the attitude that I started attacking things that I was scared.
Rule number 10, be amazing at what you do.
You a better man than me? You happy?
Now, you gonna tell Will or not?
I'm not gonna do your dirty work for you.
Fine. I'll call him from the road.
Yeah, then why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Daddy-o! What's up? Will, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle. So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold. You understand?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just for a couple of weeks.
I understand.
Yeah, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details. Okay?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too, Lou.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
You know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the Slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Will, it's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying, at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. If there was something that I
Hey,
could
you know
do.
what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil?
You did.
Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
Rule number 11, focus.
I realized that to have the level of success that I want to have, it's difficult to spread it out and do multiple things. It's in order to be world class, and I've made a decision. I want to be world class, and it takes such a desperate, obsessive focus to excel on the level that I want to make movies. I was Star Wars when I was young. I sat in a movie theater and watched Star Wars, and I just couldn't believe that movie made me feel like that, just floored and just stunned by the creativity. And I'm realizing that in order to move people in that way, in order to touch people in that way, you really got to focus with all of your fiber and all of your heart and all of your creativity.
Rule number 12, improve yourself.
The concept of improving lives runs through the center of everything I do. And then I realized that the way to improve lives is to continually improve yourself, right? So with that, every morning when I get out of the bed, I haven't fixed everything in the world yet, so there's always something to do. And in this film, I read an interesting quote. The Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, he said that Good people have to get out of the bed every day and try to empty the ocean with a ladle, right? And I thought that was, I knew that was profound, and I paused for a second, and I said, all right, what the hell is a ladle, right? Right, so then, I touched it on my iPad, it's ladle. Oh, it's like a big spoon, okay.
As we
it's
say,
like a soup spoon, yeah, it's like a soup spoon. I was like, why are you a soup spoon? So try to empty the ocean with a soup spoon, as the mentality of how you wake up every day to try to do good in the world. So for me, I'm really driven by continually trying to elevate my mind and elevate my spirit and care for my body, and to be able to love as many people as effectively as possible with this mystery of life that I've been given.
Rule number 13, don't chase money.
For me, I never did anything for money, right? So it was never about money. My experience has been when people do things for money, you make bad choices. Find what you love, and then you'll learn how to make money doing what you love. When I changed careers, I was never changing to something for money. I was changing to something I love more. Right, and that to me, that's really the only way to keep the passion. If you have two choices, one is playing the piano, and another one is bowling. And you can make more money bowling, but you love playing the piano more. You got to play the piano. It's like you'll tear yourself apart if you're not doing the thing that you love most in life. And you know what it is right now. Right now, there's something that you love more than everything. Whatever it is that you love crazy has to be the thing that you dedicate your life.
Rule number 14, be comfortable with anything.
You have to be able to be vulnerable in front of anybody. You have to be comfortable looking silly. You have to be comfortable making mistakes. And you have to break the thing inside of you that doesn't want people to see, right? Because as soon as you allow people to see, all of a sudden you get access to things that you didn't realize you had access to, right? For example, like a thing I used to do is when I was probably 18 or 19 years old, I got in touch with those blocks. The camera hates emotional blocks. Like you put a camera in somebody's face and they're uncomfortable about delivering the emotion. It looks fake and you feel it. You immediately know it's not real, right? Especially look at the size of this screen. And in a shot, that whole screen could be just your eyes, right? So it's like you can't hide discomfort, uncertainty, so you have to be able to get comfortable, just being anything! Anything that you have to be for the role, you have to be comfortable being it!
Rule number 15, laugh at everything.
I gotten probably 2 weeks into my preparation for the film, and my father was diagnosed with cancer. So we just started talking about love, time, and death. And it was some of the most open and powerful conversations that we'd ever had. And they gave him 6 weeks. And he lived for 4 months. So about 3 months into the 6 weeks, I go to see him one day and he said, man, this shit is embarrassing. And I said, what, Dad? He said, man, you tell everybody you're gonna be dead in 6 weeks. 3 months later, you still hanging around. Laughing is the elixir, and that was another thing that my father taught me. He was joking all the way up to the end. Like laughing, you have to be able to laugh at everything. Yeah. And for me, the beautiful part is that's my natural color on the spectrum. I naturally go to comedy, and when I'm looking at something, I'm always trying to find why that's funny. And, it's been really, really helpful in this experience and even just this point in my life. Remember to laugh, and spend time with people that make you laugh. Like that is hugely important.
Rule number 16, know that you can.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And, you know, that office, that position, the highest office on the face of the earth, it was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. So I really want to say to children out there and to people who are watching, Confucius said one time, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So I want to stand here before you, and as I hold this award, I want to give love to my wife, and I want you to keep in your heart, just know that you can. Know that you can.
Rule number 17, provide value.
And the greatest thing in my career has been the constant commitment to putting something in the world of value, not putting something in the world that makes me look hot. You know?
Yeah.
So I think as long as you can stay focused on delivering your art and delivering yourself and delivering your energy and delivering your ideas for the world to be better.
Rule number 18, live life without fear.
If there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. The problem with fear is that it lies, right? So fear tells you, hey, you know, if you say that to that girl, she's gonna know she has you. You know, and she'll never really be attracted to you if she knows how much you attracted to her. Don't say that, no. How we get her is when she walks by, ignore her.
Right, so Snoop,
you know, it's like,
pop it on your shoulder.
Fear tells you dumb shit like that, right? You know, so, you know, for me, the daily confrontation, with fear has become a real practice for me since about three years ago. I went skydiving in Dubai, right? And skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear, right? So I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. All right, so all your friends, what happens, you go out, I dropped my thing. Yeah. So what happens is you go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow, yeah, and you go, yeah, and everybody goes, yeah, right? And you go home by yourself, you're like, right? And you're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. Right, so maybe they not, maybe, I mean, we don't have to go, we don't have to do it. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, and you're terrified, you keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane and you can't figure out why you would do that, right? And you're laying there and you have the worst night's sleep of your life, but you still have the hope that your friends were drunk, right? So you wake up the next day and you go, down and you say where you were going to meet and everybody's there. You're like, oh, shit. All right, cool. Right? So you get in the van and you don't know that your friends had the same night that you had because they're pretending like they didn't. They're like, yeah, man, my uncle's a Navy SEAL and, this is going to be great. I've been looking forward to this. And you're like, oh, my God. And your stomach is terrible. You can't eat and everything, but you don't want to be the only punk who doesn't jump out of this airplane. So you get there and then you have this safety brief. And you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is well, why the hell, what could happen? That the chute wouldn't open, right? So you do a thing, and what you do is your first jump, you're attached to a guy who is going, he's going to walk you out. So you go, and you get there, and there's an airplane, and nobody's stopping. Everybody's still going. So you get onto the airplane and you're sitting there and it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger. You're sitting on his lap and it's like, you're trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh?
Right? You know, so, and then you just want to make sure, you got kids, right? You got people you need to see, right? You just want to make sure he's serious, right? So you get in there, so everything's normal. So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet, and you notice there's a light. It's red and it's yellow and green, right? So right now the light's red. So then you start thinking at some point the light's going to go green, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? And you wait and it goes yellow and the light goes green and somebody opens the door, and in that moment you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Right? Terror. Oh, sorry, I'm spitting. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. No, terror, right? So you go, and then, you know, if you were smart, you sat in the back so you don't go first, right? And then people start going out of the airplane. And you go, and the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. And they say, on 3. And they say, 1, 2. And he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3, right? Right? And you go, and you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying, right? It doesn't feel like falling, right? It's like you actually are kind of held a little bit by the wind, and then you start falling, and there's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. It's bliss. It's bliss. And you're flying. Right? And you're doing that. And then 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 40 seconds. And you have enough time to just kind of be like, oh, that's that building. I like that one. Oh, you can see the ocean. Right? You start doing all of that. And the lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Just don't go. Why are you scared in your bed 16 hours before you jump? Why are you scared in the car? Why could you not enjoy breakfast? What did you need that? The fear is fear of what? You're nowhere even near the airplane. Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. It only just ruins your day. You don't have to jump. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of terror. On the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life.
Rule number 19, express positive energy.
I have to show up at work with the right attitude and with the positive energy. And I actually had a t-shirt made that said positive energy is a part of your job description, right? So the idea that I want to show up with the right energy, I want to show up, we're all here, even now we're all here, we're trying to feed our families, we're trying to have a good time, we're trying, this is an important part of our lives. Our time is all that we have. So to me, it's hugely important to deliver positive energy in a way because it's viral. So if I come with positive energy, then someone else is going to pick up on the positive energy and you're going to take it home to your families. And, so for me, it's just hugely important to approach everything and everybody at every turn with the most positive, loving kindness that I can generate.
Rule number 20, have fun.
Mucha gente en los comentarios se burlaban de mí porque no conocía las palabras de la bamba. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba. So this is my first day of shooting on the movie. It's called Gemini Man. We shooting in Georgia. I love Georgia, but y'all gotta do something about the bugs. Georgia's so gorgeous. No, it really is. It's beautiful, but you gotta rock this to be out here, all right? So I'm just saying y'all need to fix it, because I sprayed off on, the bugs is on that like it's honey. I make my living with my face. So somebody do something about it, quick.
Can't believe this. I can't believe this. I'm rattled, life in pieces like Seattle. Nights are sleepless. I'm grieving. I'm speechless. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking.
Rule number 21, focus on the people.
You know, I've always been really product oriented. You know, it's like I want to win. When I do something, I want to win. I want it to be number one, and I want to smash it. And I had a period. I have a daughter now. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she got me and shifted my focus from product to people. It took a couple of years, but as soon as I got knocked off of product and started shifting to people, the whole world opened up for me again, and acting opened up in a whole new way, to not go into day one of a movie trying to figure out what everybody has to do so we win, versus opening up and every person's a new, it's a whole new world.
Meaning the characters you play or the people you work with?
Both. Absolutely. You know, generally when I went into a product, when I went into a meeting with a director, my focus was, can this guy win? Can this girl win? And that it was a pathology that got broken for me a couple of years ago, and then releasing that and just wanting to connect with people and wanting to grow and wanting to get new ideas and have new experiences that don't have to have an outcome. It just opened up a whole new world for me, and I fell in love, and then I couldn't imagine what else I could do in acting that could add so much to my life other than acting.
Rule number 22, take a shot.
Our nation's first orcish police officer.
Hey, don't get me stabbed.
Wyvorks always gotta be the bad guys.
Well, when you were on Conan, you were asked to give your best description of Bright, and you said, think of it as the energy of Training Day meets Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Which is a little bit baffling, but also surprisingly accurate in some ways.
Yeah.
To both of you, were you confident that you could pull off this odd cocktail?
No, I wasn't confident at all, but that's what was exciting to me. It's so wonderfully weird. I was excited about taking a shot. The fact that it was so strange, you know, as an artist, it was fun to get out on that limb and hoping it doesn't break under your feet.
Rule number 23, always be joyous.
I look at the world through a lens of comedy, right? So my natural reaction is always, no matter when something happens, and I can't even help it, it's, why is that funny? You know, so even at a funeral, I can't help but think why that's funny, you know? So it's extremely helpful for me just psychologically that no matter what's going on, I can't keep my mind from finding jokes. You know, so it's a beautiful way to stay joyous and positive.
Rule number 24, be motivated by fear.
Do you get nervous or afraid?
I live in complete terror. Like, you know, everything for me about this business and you know, about what I've been trying to build and what I've been trying to do with my life keeps me in terror. I am deeply motivated by fear.
I'm surprised you say you live in fear. How do you deal with that? Do you turn to somebody for advice? Do you meditate? How do you get over that?
You know, I'm trying to develop a more realistic perspective of what this business is. I told my mother this the other day, and she thought it was hilarious. I said, when I was 15 years old, my first girlfriend cheated on me.
Oh.
And I remember making a decision that nobody would ever cheat on me again. And the way I was going to do that is by being the biggest actor on earth. Right? So there's been this weird psychology that I've always felt like if my movies are number one, my life is going to work out great. You know, and like that's just
you
funny.
share that.
Rule number 25, always look forward.
I've always been the type of person who I thought of myself as resilient, you know, that I could always make my way back. Being stuck in the past it makes it extremely difficult to find your way out. And future thinking for me has always been the way to get over difficult times, to be able to look over the darkness to a potential time of light. Very rarely do I look backwards. I'm always looking forward.
Rule number 26, be yourself.
So both your kids are in showbiz too. Is that worrying for you? Or
no, you know, it's, you know, to me, showbiz is not separated from the rules of the universe, right? So whether you're in show business or, you know, you're selling cars or you're farming, you know, you're not separate from the laws of the universe, and all of the rules are the same everywhere. So for my children, the most important thing is that they be encouraged to fully and thoroughly be themselves, no matter what. And when you have yourself and you're thorough and confident in who you are, you can survive anywhere.
Rule number 27, experiment.
Bright goes out to 190 countries. Hundreds of millions of people see it, but it's not in theaters. So for two artists, what is the unique satisfaction of this?
You know, so for me, it's really experimental. What I learned when Independence Day came out. So I'd been doing The Fresh Prince, and that Friday before Independence Day came out, everybody was, Will. That Monday was the first time that anybody ever called me Mr. Smith, right? So there's something about that big screen, that massive blockbuster that does something inside of people emotionally. So I'm curious as to see, because Netflix is doing all of the other stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, it's exactly the same production process, the promotion, everything is exactly the same you would do for a gigantic blockbuster. And the question is, will the emotional resonance, the sort of nostalgic residue a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, still be there with people not experiencing it in the overwhelming fashion of the cinema?
So this is an experiment and we'll see how it works
We'll
out.
see how it goes, yeah. But it's definitely the future.
Rule number 28, have a strong why.
You know, I got the call from Ridley, and he said, I've got a gift for you. And he sent me Concussion. And, you know, I read it immediately. And I remember thinking, this ain't no damn gift. I was like, I'm a football dad. Yeah,
Right.
For me, it was a beautiful screenplay, but it opened up a huge conflict for me. You know?
Did you know about what had happened before? Did you know the story a little bit of him?
Really vaguely.
Okay.
Really vaguely, I knew. You know, my son played football for 4 years.
Right.
And during that time, I had never heard about the concussion issue at all.
At all, okay.
So, you know, it was part of what really inspired me and made me want to do the film, forced me to have to do the film, is because as a parent, I had no idea.
Right.
I had no idea that there was an issue with repetitive head trauma in football.
Right.
You know? So it was quite a revelation.
Rule number 29, put positive energy into the world.
For me, a personal confrontation with death made me see the value of time and the fact that the only elixir is love. You know, so the time that you spend has got to be in preparing yourself and giving and receiving the most amount of love you can.
my mission is to improve lives. So I want to do things that put positivity and positive energy and love into the world.
Rule number 30, have fun.
So I'm gonna put on this orc mask because I can't walk the floor at Comic-Con as me. And out in the middle with everybody. I think I'm with people. All right, so now I feel sorry for Joel. All he always says, but if we go out in public, I'm gonna kill somebody. So let's go. And I never get to do this. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna get to walk around. It's hard to see and it's hard to breathe. But I'm a soldier, so I don't need neither one of them things. I'm an orc. I'm sorry. I'm an orc, I just walk.
Rule number 31, find your purpose.
Finding your purpose, like that's a big one. Just keep trying stuff. Just keep trying. You got to keep going. And in terms of finding purpose, it was helpful for me to realize that just because everybody in Philly believed, one thing and one set of ideas, and everybody in Philly was in a certain paradigm, as soon as I got out of the city and out of the country, I realized there were people that didn't give a damn about stuff that was the most important thing in the world. Try, experiment, meet, travel. That was a big part for me, and that's a lot of what you're gonna see on my YouTube channel too. Like, travel is huge.
Rule number 32, maintain infectious energy.
Were you just born like this? Were you just born enthusiastic?
It's hugely important to me to maintain a certain energy. It's like, it's healing, it's loving, it's kind. And I learned really young that my energy was infectious. Right? So when I come into the studio, long after I leave, the energy that I bring is still going to be here, and then people are going to take it home and they're going to infect their families with it. So for me, it's hugely important to maintain just positive, loving energy.
You're always grateful.
Yeah, I'm really happy. It's funny. I worked with Gene Hackman, and we had a thing every morning because Gene Hackman wasn't a morning person, and this is what I do in the morning. So every morning I would say, "Hey, good morning, Mr. Hackman." He's like, "Yeah." And I would say, he'd say, "How you doing, Will?" And I say, "Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here." He would say, "No, you're lucky to be here." Right? So we would do that every morning, but it became my way of just getting it up and getting it going. It's just I love it.
Rule number 33, fail forward.
Love this one. Fail early, fail often, fail forward. It's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. When you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed, but they extract the lessons from the failure, and they use the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success. You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where
you're almost certain you're going to fail. That's the reason for practice. Practice is controlled failure. You're getting to your limit, getting to your limit, getting to your limit. You can't lift that. You can't do that. Until you get to the point that all of a sudden your body makes the adjustment and then you can do it. Failure actually helps you to recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward.
Rule number 34, dedicate your life to your dream.
I think it was 94 or something like that. They were opening Planet Hollywood. I found myself in a room with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Sly. And I was like, oh my God, I got these 3 guys in the room. And I was like, okay, I want to be the biggest movie star in the world. And I need you guys to tell me how to do it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, he said, if your movie is only big in America, it doesn't matter. You'll be a movie star only when you're a movie star in every country in the world. You have to travel, you have to go, you have to meet the people.
Thanks for the tip.
Facts, son, facts. That became the way that I started looking at movies. I wanted to be in every country in the world. In that part of my career, I refused to do anything that wasn't in the best interest of the goal I had set for myself. And there was probably a 12-year period of my life where I didn't take a drink. I didn't have a drink, where I didn't go out on the weekends. I was so set on my goal. It created a serious circle of protection and elevation because I refused to do anything that wasn't in my best interest. It's hugely important that if you have a dream, that you have to dedicate your life to it, and every hour of every day has to be dedicated to bringing into fruition the things that you dream about.
Rule number 35, seek those who fan your flames.
I just saw this Rumi quote that I love. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. The Philly translation of that is, don't be hanging with no jank-ass jokers that don't help you shine. The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame. Look at your last 5 text messages. Are those people feeding your flames or dousing your fire? Put your phone down for just a second and look around. Look to the people around you. Are those people throwing logs on your fire or are they pissing on it? The people that you spend time with are going to make or break your dreams. Everybody don't deserve to be around you. You got to defend your light with your life. So who are the people in your life that are fanning your flames? Shout them out, tag them below.
Rule number 36, do everything.
You originally started off as a rapper, so I was wondering, it's been over 10 years since your last album. Are you experimenting in the studio? Are you exploring new sounds, the new wave of hip hop? Are you releasing, planning on releasing any new music?
So so I just I've been probably 30 days on Instagram, and so you can follow me at on Instagram. And I just launched a YouTube channel, and I didn't realize how great social media was for the short form content. So I have all of these ideas, I have all of these songs, I have all of these skits, I have all of these things that I didn't think I'd ever get around to putting out that I'll be doing on my social media. So I'll definitely be putting out records, I'll definitely be doing skits, and I'll definitely be creating content that has been bubbling in me for years.
Rule number 37, decide to inspire people.
I went to Catholic school up to 8th grade with all white kids and probably 2 or 3 black kids, but predominantly white school. And then I went to my neighborhood high school in 9th grade that was 99% black kids. So the first day that I walked in to 9th grade, I walked into the lunchroom, and it was like 500 kids, and to this day I don't know why I did this. I'm sure it was because I was nervous, and I have a thing with fear. I don't like being scared, so I'm sure I walked in, I looked around, and I said, "Excuse me, can I have y'all attention? Can I have y'all attention, please? He's here. He's here right now. Thank you. Thank you. And people was kind of looking, and there was this one dude, and he was sitting there, and he looked up to me. He said, "Man, don't nobody give a that you here, right?" And I said, "Hey, just give me 10 minutes. Your girl gonna care, right?" And he was like, "All right." And you gotta watch that nod. That nod is not a good nod. He was like, and I was like, okay. So I went, so I'm walking up the steps. We're out of the lunchroom, and I had forgot about it. So we're going, and I'm walking up the steps, and he had taken one of those combination locks, and he put the lock in the palm of his hand and put the loop around his knuckle, and he was holding the lock in his hand. And as I was walking up the steps, he cracked me in the side of my head with the lock. And I went down, I was out, I don't remember nothing. I still got the lump on my head. You can't see it because I got my hair, but I still, like, there's still a lump. So I remember I fell down, I hit my mouth on the steps, all of that stuff, you know, so I went up, so I'm in the principal's office, all of that, the police come, and I got the ice on my lips, and I'm sitting in the principal's office. And my father comes in, he sees me, and you know, I'm telling the story now, the police are there, and I remember I saw this kid, they put him in handcuffs and took him out of the school. And I'm looking, sitting in the principal's office, and I'm watching the police take him out and put him in the back of a police car. And I just couldn't believe it had escalated to a kid being removed from school. And I was laying in my bed that night, and I was just feeling like shit. And I had the recognition that I had caused this kid to throw his life away, right? And he was kicked out of school, and I never knew what happened to him, but I have a sense that it didn't go well beyond there. And I felt a deep sense of regret and a deep sense that I had caused an emotion in a person that made them do that. And that feeling of regret turned into a sort of a fear of how much power I had. And I was like, everything I say and do has that kind of effect on other human beings. And in that moment, I decided that I would never walk into a room and do anything other than inspire and uplift and enlighten people and help people to be the greater versions of themselves. And I would never do anything that would cause people to rile up the darkest, dirtiest parts of people. I only wanted to enliven and enlighten and inspire. And I remember laying in my bed that night, and I made that promise to myself, and I made that promise to God. And it's something that has completely shaped how I approach people, how I approach moments, how I walk into rooms, how I deal with every human being on this earth.
Rule number 38, develop self-discipline.
So a dude screamed to me the other night, "Hey, Will, I want to be an actor, man. I want to be an actor just like you." You know, usually people say stuff to me like that. I'm like, "Yeah, man, you know, you can do it." Give them an encouraging word. But I was just sitting in here thinking, and it dawned on me, 99% of people that say stuff like that are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. You know, something as simple as food and eating. It's not about your body as much as it is about your mind. It's getting command of your mind to be able to choose actions that are in your own best interest. Every day we are choosing shit that's not in our own best interest. Right? So if the world is attacking you and the world wants to fight you and the world's trying to hold you down, so you're going to kick yourself in the balls? So you're going to stop yourself from getting what you dream. Self discipline is the center of all material success. You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
Rule number 39, take responsibility.
I was just having a debate with a friend of mine, and we got stuck on the difference between fault and responsibility. She kept talking about how something was somebody's fault. It's somebody's fault. And I was like, it don't matter whose fault it is that something is broken if it's your responsibility to fix it. For example, it's not somebody's fault if their father was an abusive alcoholic, but it's for damn sure their responsibility to figure out how they're going to deal with those traumas and try to make a life out of it. It's not your fault if your partner cheated and ruined your marriage, but it is for damn sure your responsibility to figure out how to take that pain and how to overcome that and build a happy life for yourself. Fault and responsibility do not go together. It sucks, but they don't. When something is somebody's fault, we want them to suffer. We want them punished. We want them to pay. And we want it to be their responsibility to fix it. But that's not how it works, especially when it's your heart. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. As long as we're pointing the finger and stuck in whose fault something is, we're jammed and trapped into victim mode. When you're in victim mode, you are stuck in suffering. The road to power is in taking responsibility. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone.
Rule number 40, have fun.
All right, here's what's going to happen. Twitch is going to ask us each to name three things, three types of like cars or something, and we'll have 5 seconds to name three things and then hit that to see how much time is left on the clock.
Okay.
All right? If you do it, you get a point. If time runs out, you get no points at all. 5 seconds goes very, very fast.
Okay.
I shall go first.
You shall go first. Okay.
Okay. Ellen,
Yes.
name three things you do in a car.
You drive, you park, and you say hello to people. You do when you're waving. No, you do. When you're driving. Have you ever lived in a small town? You do. You wave to people.
All right. Okay, I see now we need some like judges or something.
All right.
You drive, you say hi, you wink.
Okay, Will.
Yes.
Name three things you should never do in a car.
Never drink, smoke, make love. That's not true. That's not true. But you shouldn't do it. You should do it at home. I see it's hard. It is hard. It is hard.
Okay, Ellen, tell us three words you use a lot.
Love, baby, and be kind.
Yeah, and be kind. Be kind. I'm going to give you that one because that's the right answer.
Yes, that is right.
That's the right answer.
It's 2 words, though.
It's 2 words.
Okay, Will, name your three favorite songs to sing in the shower.
In the shower. The Dream Girls, I'm telling you, Whitney Houston's, oh, darn. Yeah, but it's like and I am telling you, I'm not going. You're the best man I've ever known. There's no way I could ever go. No way.
No way. I'm living
that's
with
my song. That's my song.
Rule number 41, maintain positivity.
You was always challenged for that, right? Like, oh, you're soft, you're different than other rappers. Your positivity was always challenged. Like, people always wanted you to justify being positive.
Being positive,
so
right? Absolutely. Yeah, no, that was a difficult time coming up because it's like I'm from Philly, right? So during that time in Philly, it was Joe Frazier and Rocky. So a fist fight was common. So you grew up,
right?
You grew up.
Chuck
D he called it Pug City. He's like Pug City. He's like Chuck was like, damn, you can't go to Philly without getting in a fight.
Right.
So it's like I grew up in that. So for me to it was always difficult for people, to say I was soft and I was, my music was cotton candy and all of that. So I always wanted to fight to try to prove myself. But fighting yourself to maintain positivity is the hardest fight you ever gonna have, right? And it's like that struggle to just stay my course, to, be the person in the world that I wanted to be, no matter what people said. And it was, I started to call it offensive positivity, right? Like, I wasn't gonna be on defense with my positivity. I was gonna be on offense with it.
Rule number 42, seize your opportunities.
Me and Jeff had come out with our smash hit, Parents Just Don't Understand. We made a bunch of money. We won a Grammy. Album was triple platinum. I had motorcycles and cars. I called the Gucci store in Atlanta and I was like, "Hey, will y'all close it down if I bring my friends?" And I'm smiling, but that's stupid. We released our next album and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic.
I had spent most of my money, like all of it. I spent all my money.
And I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh damn, they need their money. The IRS took all of that stuff. So I was like, broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination, because you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you sitting next to them on the bus. And the stuff they ask you to sign on a bus, like, "Ooh, can you sign my baby?" That's a Sharpie. I probably shouldn't just write on the baby with that. "Oh, you too big to sign my baby." Well, no, so I signed it. So I was like laying around and my girlfriend was like,
"Dude, we're not doing this. Like, you're not just gonna be laying around this house all day. You're gonna go do something."
And I was like, "What? What am I supposed to do?"
"Go where people is doing it."
Where people doing it?
Go to the Arsenio Hall show.
Just go stand around at the Arsenio Hall show?
Yes.
That's stupid.
So I went to the Arsenio Hall show
and I met a dude named Benny Medina. And Benny Medina is the real life Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, except he actually went from Watts to Beverly Hills. Same basic concept, way shorter distance. I meet Benny and he pitches me the idea for this show and I'm like, I'm not an actor. I'm like, cool. And he says, "Hey, I want you to meet Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is producing with me." So I find myself at Quincy's. And there's actors and artists and celebrities and politicians, like everybody's at Quincy's house. It's like The Wiz without the costumes. So Benny walks me in and introduced me to Quincy and like, "Hey Q, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey man, I saw your music videos. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Tell me your rap name again." They call me the Fresh Prince. "All right, good. That's what we're gonna call the show." And he handed me a screenplay for a failed Morris Day pilot. Like, I don't have the time. "So I need you to do this. I need you to go ahead, take a few minutes, take 10 minutes, study the script, and I'm gonna clear all the stuff out the living room, and we're gonna have everybody sit down in the living room. We're gonna do an audition." He had movers that could reset his furniture. I was like, this dude is real. So he goes out, tells everybody, come on. And I was like, "Hey Q, hold up, man, hold up. I'm not ready to do no audition." And he said, "Oh, all right. Well, what you need? Tell me what you need. Just set the meeting for a week and I could do it." He said, yeah, Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC, is out there. I'll get him the schedule for next week. And then you know what's gonna happen? Something gonna come up and then he's gonna have to reschedule. "Oh, yeah. So 3 weeks from now, Q, we can do it 3 weeks from now." I said, yeah, 3 weeks from now will be good. Or you could take 10 minutes right now and you can change your life forever. And I was like, it then. Yes, give me 10 minutes. I said yes, and I let it rip. And I got to the end, and everybody is clapping. Quincy looks at Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC. "Did you like it?" And Brandon said, yeah, I liked it. Quincy says, "No, did you like it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I liked it." He's like, "Good, you're his lawyer. Draw me up something right now."
Rule number 43, work on your body.
I used to be able to eat whatever I want, and then in 6 weeks I could get in any shape I wanted to get into, but that's not the case anymore. We're around the 12 or 14 week mandatory training to do anything, but I love it. I enjoy the discipline of it. For me, working on your body is the beginning of everything. You know, your mind starts to work better. You're a better husband, a better father, a better friend, and life is just better when you care for your body at the highest level.
Rule number 44, be obsessed.
You told the famous story about how you kind of backed into acting Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you start making these movies. And I forget that Bad Boys actually came before Independence Day, right?
Yeah, Bad Boys.
Independence Day just was like one of the biggest of all time. Like, what was that transition like for you to be like a real actor and like the biggest actor in the game?
Nah, it was that was like the first real goal, like that in terms of setting goals. I was like, I want to be the biggest movie star in the world. Right, and up until that point, everything was like, it was fun and it was happening and we were creating in Jeff's mom's basement and it was successful. But that was like, when I moved into acting, that was the first time I started applying skill to my talents, right? And I look at skill and talent separately. Like, Pete, you're born with talent. It's like there's certain things that you just do naturally. You were gifted with a talent and you have it. But skill is acquired through discipline, and I've never seen myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is I'm willing to die in the process of acquiring skill. Like, it's, when I put my obsessive mind on something, I'm just dying. Yeah, right, exactly. It's
You're
like,
not gonna outwork you. You also said ridiculous and sickening work ethic.
Sickening work ethic, exactly. It's like, so for me, to be a movie star was the first thing that I ever really wanted like that, and set my
He was like
my
Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Bruce Willis.
All of them. I was like, because when I looked, I always felt like there weren't a lot of people I saw do things that I felt like I couldn't do. Right? When I look at people and I see things, I don't feel like I can't. Whether or not I will is something different, but I don't ever feel like I can't.
Rule number 45, have a strong why.
Anytime I put something in the world, I'm always connecting to an idea. I'm always asked, why am I making this? Why? So I'm putting this out in the world. Why? So with concussion, Dr. Bennett Omalu was deeply connected to tell the truth. And he said that truth doesn't have a side. And that's what he kept saying. I thought that was such a powerful idea. That whose side are you on? Are you a Republican or a Democrat? I'm trying to tell the truth. The truth doesn't have a side.
Rule number 46, deal with rejection.
Rejection is everywhere. We all deal with the.
You don't anymore.
Oh my!
Sure you don't.
Me worst of all. I think the idea of rejection is relative. I mean, if you take a kid in a small town and somebody posts something negative about them, and all of their friends laugh, that's the worst rejection a human being can experience. It's not, for that kid, it's not any less than for my kids who read it on a comment page. It's emotionally, it's the same. My kids grew up in this world, so they're much more acclimated to the difficulties of this world, but it doesn't make it emotionally more difficult or more painful than for any other child who has to deal with it.
Rule number 47, be authentic.
You're like the prince, but now you're the king of Instagram, man. I know. Right now. So it's like, how come you've embraced social media in this way? Like, because for the longest, you have this mystique behind you.
Well, when I started, the only way to be a movie star was through distance and mystery and mystique, right? That was the way, is that, you could see me on July 4th in the movie theater, or you're not gonna see me, right? So that was the way. Keeping that distance was how you maintained
Star power.
Yeah. And in the last 5 years, that shifted much more to a friendship model. Like people support artists that they feel like they know thoroughly, that they're friends, right? So that the social media, the daily interaction is much more like a family friendship kind of interaction that is an audience demand for their loyalty.
Mm-hmm. But is there such thing as revealing too much?
Not in this world. Too much, it's personal, like it's what can you handle? I think one of the major, one of the beautiful parts of social media that I think is a beautiful evolutionary thing is that social media demands authenticity, right? So social media pushes you more and more into having to reveal what's true.
Yeah,
and because if you don't, TMZ is going to, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So it's it's a beautiful thing. And I'm actually enjoying the push, right? Nobody's happy who doesn't get to be themselves. Right? So the eyes and ears of the world are starting to demand more and more authenticity, where you got to say what's true for you and live or die by what that is. So I'm enjoying the social demand for authenticity. I'm coming into a space.
How have you maintained your authenticity? Because you come from Philly, you've gone through everything. Like your journey's been crazy. Like how have you maintained that throughout these years?
It's really interesting. It's like. The idea, I haven't maintained my authenticity per se. I've maintained my character, right? I've maintained my beliefs, character in two senses. I've maintained my character of Will Smith, and I've maintained my personal character of what I believe in. So, but in terms of authenticity, the character, Will Smith, signs every autograph and is always happy and wants to see the fans and is always in a good mood. And that's actually not authentic, right? I do want to slap somebody, every once in a while. So in terms of authenticity, I have successfully maintained positivity, and now I'm working more to maintain authenticity. I'm granting myself the freedom to not give a f when I don't give a f, right? And now I'm working into a space of much more authenticity.
Rule number 48, face your fears.
Something that probably a lot of people don't know about me, I don't f with the ocean. The ocean is like the ultimate woman. She is beautiful and she will nourish you, but she will tear you to shreds also. The ocean is my worst fear. I don't know what it is or where it came from, but there's something about not being able to breathe. I've tried snorkeling before and I was hyperventilating. My 50th birthday is this year. I just wasn't going to go into the back nine of my life without having attacked my fear of the ocean.
So we're about to scuba dive the Great Barrier Reef. I've never scuba dove. I've never been scuba divish before.
So we're taking a boat ride out and we go through a storm.
Reporting to you live from a storm on a boat. We're headed out to a dive site. Oh my goodness! Oh, did you feel that? Did you feel that? Back to you in the studio, Sandy.
Probably 25 years old in my mind, and I knew that I would be here one day. So I'm ready.
This is stupid. All right, I'm not going.
Come on, this will be the hardest part of your
I know, right? Is it okay to punch sharks in the face? You're like, back up with your shark ass. Back up with your shark ass. Shark ass, back up. Shark jab, shark jab. Yeah.
I got it.
Your first fish we see is a shark. Come on. I'm not doing another dive today.
The question isn't, can you handle the situation? The question is, can you handle your mind? Can you manage the thoughts and the emotions that are trying to poison your progress? Forget managing the situation. Manage your mind. Training your mind to sit calmly in the eye of the storm.
Rule number 49, inspire others to succeed.
You know, growing up, my mother and father and grandmother demanded no less of me than to represent the family every time I stepped out in a way that was helpful to others.
The city gave him his start. He's worked hard and the city has worked hard for him.
Knowing that this man is from West Philly opens eyes for them. It opens their lens.
When you're in Philadelphia, you see a lot of things in the youth and the neighborhoods that not always positive, and I think seeing that will motivate you all in its own, because you're always going to want something better for yourself.
You don't have enough role models out here. You got too many kids being led astray, thinking the wrong things is what's good. They grow up too fast. And you need people that's putting that out there, like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. It's so much easier being yourself.
When you are a young kid and you walk into school and you see images like this, it makes you aspire to want to be that person, right? What he's done in his life vibrated all your overseas to touch you and to touch people around the world. But this right here will affect people. The main thing you did, let me tell you the main detail. You got Will's ears right.
This man who is an icon is looking at GLA. So my kids every day will see this image and know that you can be whatever you want to be. This is a man who grew up in Philadelphia, went to Overbrook High School up the street, was a part of this world, that he now is looking at us and telling my children, you can be whatever you want to be. It's just so powerful.
If you're a kid here growing up now and you see this every day, it can give you a real understanding that this guy is me. You know, he lived here, he grew up here, he had the same chances as me, the same possibilities as me, the same everything. And he's being painted on a wall because he's done something incredible with his life.
And rule number 50, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is ask awesome questions.
We're about to make history. We are doing an IG Live to the International Space Station. Oh yeah, and see, now that's the thing. Look, I'm doing it like that. Everybody can't do an interview to the International Space Station in house shoes. In terms of like the simple basics, right? So you on Earth, people have to poop. You're like, it's important to poop on Earth, right? So when you're up there, I see your microphone floating. I need to understand what you do with that. Like, how do you manage that?
Well, are you sure you want to talk about this problem? Because it is pretty challenging. I like to say you can have a good day in the bathroom and you can have a really bad day in the bathroom, and you hope for the good days. The bad days can be challenging.
On Earth, we talk about the Mile High Club. Has anyone, attempted for research purposes, has anyone attempted, the process of procreating the human species in space?
All right, Will, similar to the last question, I'll just say, are you sure we want to talk about this on the interview?
I'm just, I'm a man of the people, Drew. I'm a man of the people. And it's important to me to ask the questions that the people want the answers to.
I'll just say, as far as I know, I have no knowledge of those tests being done. But I can imagine that would present some unique opportunities.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip from Will on how to not chase awards that I think you're gonna really enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Time to move from just watching another video to actually taking action in your life and your business. So answer these 3 questions. Number 1, how will you maintain your positivity when things get rough? Number 2, what is your strong why to keep going? And number 3, what fear do you need to face and how will you conquer it this week?
We won the first Grammy ever given to rappers, and we boycotted that year. So the Grammys weren't televising the rap portion, and we felt like you know we had done enough that deserved to be in the televised portion of the show. I know, right? And everybody was still scared of rap music at the time and thought it was a fad and all of that stuff. So we received our Grammy in absentia. I've never used that word before. I like that. In absentia.
I wasn't there.
we wasn't there. We wasn't there.
But were you still happy that you received that Grammy, that award? Was it like bittersweet?
You know, I've never really been awards minded, right? So I like it. Everybody, you prefer to win than lose.
You got 4, right?
If
you
you're
got 4
gonna be
Grammys.
I actually don't know. Like, I actually don't know. You know, Jeff asks me all the time, like, he's like, where is your Grammy? I was like, dude, I have no idea.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm just not awards minded. I'm much more
that box office.
Box office, yeah. I'm always, opening weekend. Yeah, I'm much more. It's like
total grossing.
Total gross. Like I like winning at the box office. I like numbers. I like sales. And awards are cool, but it's like I never really got into the excitement of winning an award. It's like I've been nominated for Academy Awards twice, and it's like it's nothing. It's like,
well, even that feeling with the film stuff, that's never.
Yeah, it's like I like box office assassination.
Raise your standard.
Apple at the core, its core value is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me.
If you want to learn about Will Smith's sickening work ethic and how you can develop it yourself, check out the video next to me. I think you're going to enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
There was, there was a moment when I was about 9 years old.